Welcome back. We are continuing our conversation about life insurance with Kimberly Bell, an agent with State Farm. All right, here's a couple of questions. How old is too old to get life insurance policy? My mother is 73.
Our final expense policy stops at 75. So if it's something you want to consider, you definitely want to give us a call.
Okay, but it will be more expensive at 73, yes?
It will definitely be a little bit more expensive, absolutely, due to age, yes.
Okay, how can I leave my life insurance to my grandchildren who are underage?
Honestly, I would contact an estate attorney. That is the best thing to do in that situation, is see if you can put those life insurance policies inside of a trust.
Okay, that's like a beneficiary type of thing. That's not like what
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Why does life insurance costs go up as you get older?
Honestly, it's the mortality rates, right? So the older we get, the closer we are to passing away. So that's why it becomes more expensive, and you're more exposed to health conditions too, or medical history in the future.
Because it's more likely that the insurance will have to pay.
Yes.
So they're trying to
absolutely.
mitigate what they're having to pay. Okay, I see. There are many advertisements for life insurance for seniors. Is the one that promises to return all premiums legitimate?
Yes, you do see some life insurance policies that will return all final expense premiums if you happen to pass away within a set period of time. So our final expense policy, for instance, will, if you pass away within the first 2 years of obtaining that policy, then we will reimburse you the policy premiums for that policy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So this person is saying that they're 50 and they have a term policy. Should they still get a whole life policy, even though they're covered with their term policy?
If that term policy is taking you to 100 years and is giving you the amount of death benefit that you're looking for, absolutely. But if you're looking for a cash value component on a permanent side, or something that's going to stay with you past that point, then you should definitely add a whole life policy to your insurance portfolio.
So maybe you can explain that a little bit more. So if the term and you pass away, what happens with the money, versus if you have a whole life insurance and you pass away, what happens with the money?
So if you pass away, then you get the death benefit for that term policy as well as that whole life policy. So think of your whole life policy as being in addition to the term policy that you currently have.
I see. Okay. I have $20,000 cash value in a policy. If I die, do you get the face value plus the cash value?
It depends on how you set up your policy originally with your life specialist. There are some policies out there that will allow you to obtain both the cash value and the death benefit at the same time.
Okay, this is a good question. Do you need to apply for additional life insurance if you already have life insurance through your employer?
Absolutely, because if you leave that job, if you're laid off, if you're terminated for any reason, 9 times out of 10, you cannot take that policy with you. It is always recommended that you have a policy outside of work, something that you can control yourself.
All right, and let's talk about the cost. How much should the aim be to pay for life insurance?
Honestly, it depends on your budget. Again, we have a life insurance policy for every budget, and we take a look at the amount of coverage that you need. So we always recommend anywhere between 5 to 10 times your annual salary. But we also like to take a look at how much debt you have, what your future goals are for your family. If you're going to be paying for tuition expenses for your kids, we definitely want to implement that into the consideration once we determine how much coverage you need.
Okay, and then this person says, how long does life insurance policy last after you leave your employer? Does it end immediately?
Within 30 days sometimes, and then sometimes it ends immediately. The term, it really honestly is based on how you leave that employer, right? So, but what we always recommend is that you won't have to worry about that if you have a policy on your own.
Gotcha. This person says, how do you know how long your term policy is if you don't know where your printed policy is? And how do you get a copy?
The best thing to do is then check your bank statements to see where that money's going, and then try to find a customer service line to call that life insurance company. They should be able to tell you what your coverage amount is going to be, how much you're paying, and how much longer you have left on that policy.
That's right.
And then another question too you want to ask is to make sure you can convert it possibly to a whole life policy down the road.
Okay, that's good to check your statement, because your money's coming out of there somewhere to pay for that. All right, real quick,
Absolutely.
If someone got a life insurance policy when they were 18, it expires when they're 65. They're now 47. Should they get a new policy now?
Absolutely, absolutely, because not people are starting to live longer, and once you hit 67, I can guarantee you'll still be here. So you want to make sure that you have another policy that is going to be able to take over that policy that you currently have that's going to expire when you're 67.
Yeah, and you want to get it earlier. Remember, the younger you are, the cheaper it is to get that policy.
The earlier, the better.
All right,
Earlier,
thank
the better.
you so
Absolutely.
much for your time and your expertise. We appreciate it. Look at all the information.
Yes,
If you
thank you so
missed
much for
any of
having
it,
me. We appreciate it.
yeah.